You know, whether you agreed with him or not, he was a fixture of Canadian media for years, sometimes radical, sometimes right, oftentimes wrong, but he was a key member of the Canadian landscape. And a lot of people thought he had passed away. He was sick for quite a while with cancer, but he has unfortunately passed on at the age of 77. Rex Murphy. Now, he was a Canadian commentator and author, primarily in Canadian political and social matters, mostly for CBC. He was a regular host of CBC Radio 1's Cross Country Checkup for years, a nationwide call-in show for 21 seasons before stepping down in September 2015. He also wrote for the National Post and had a YouTube channel called Rex TV. Now, born in Cabernet, Newfoundland, graduate memorial in 1968. Like all British subjects born in Newfoundland prior to his union with Canada in 1949, Murphy became a natural born Canadian citizen under the Newfoundland Terms of Union and an amendment to the Canadian Citizenship Act passed in 1949. He grew up in Placentia, 150 kilometers west of St. John's, and is the second of 5 children of Harry and Mary Murphy. He graduated from Memorial University of Newfoundland with a degree in English in 1968, and ever since then he's been a purveyor of the great form of Canadian, what he called editorials that we're known for. In 1968, he studied law for a year at St. Edmund Hall, Oxford, as a Rhodes Scholar. Returning to Iraq, he began a master's degree in English but did not complete it. He first came to national attention in 1965 while attending Memorial during a nationally covered speech in Lennoxville, Quebec. Murphy characterized Newfoundland Premier Joey Smallwood's governing style as dictatorial and proclaimed his legislature's recent announcement of free tuition as a sham. Smallwood warned the undergraduate student in a news conference not to return. Murphy did return and was elected president of Memorial University Student Council. Smallwood's administration followed through with its promise. Students were awarded both free tuition and an additional $50 living allowance. Now, when he ran for provincial office in Newfoundland twice, it was both times as a candidate for the Liberal Party of Newfoundland, which is kind of strange compared to his future leanings. He stood for election in the 85 general vote in the riding of Placentia and came in second, losing by a tough 146 votes to William G. Patterson. Next year, he stood for election in a by-election in the riding of St. John's East. This time, he came in third, behind the successful New Democratic Party candidate Jean Long and the PC candidate Shani Duff. He also worked in the 80s as an executive assistant to Clyde Wells, who became Premier of Newfoundland in 89. Now, a frequent present on various branches of the CBC, his regular commentary segments on the Corp drew a big interest. They were called Point of View, and he covered every subject possible. He was mostly featured on The National, which at the time was CBC Television's flagship nightly news program. The 2024 version of The National was watered down because back then he also had something called The Journal. Now, he made numerous friends and some enemies as a regular host of CBC's Radio 1's Cross Country Checkup, a nationwide call-in show. It's hard to believe across Canada, ladies and gentlemen, still now for a couple of hours every Sunday, people of all shapes and sizes and political aspirations can call in and give their topic or their opinion on the day. Now, in 2004, he and 9 other prominent Canadians participated in the production and the defense of a great Canadian on a CBC television program, The Greatest Canadian. Murphy advocating for former PM Pierre Trudeau, guiding his candidate to third place in the final vote. Now, Murphy retired from Cross Country Checkup in 2015, that fall, and continues commentary segments on the National until June 28, 2017. Now, after receiving several public complaints in 2014, the CBC's ombudsman investigated claims that Murphy might have been in conflict of interest by criticizing opponents of the Alberta oil sands in his point of view segments while receiving money from the oil industry for paid speeches. In the final report and after investigation, the CBC's ombudsman Esther Enkin did not say whether Murphy's speeches presented a conflict of interest, but did conclude that since taking money leads to a perception of a conflict of interest, CBC management might not want to consider in review their undertaking whether even with disclosure is it appropriate for CBC News and Current Affairs staff to get paid for the speaking engagements. Now, He wrote a column for the Saturday edition of the Globe and Mail newspaper until January 2010, which is considered a prominent right-wing paper across the nation. When the Globe canceled the column, Murphy moved to the National Post, which he continued to write. Murphy's writing is characterized by a polysyllabic style and a wide range of cultural references, and basically a very sing-songy approach, a very pure Canadian style, almost like Codco meets your local radio host. Now, in October 2019, he launched Rex TV, his own YouTube channel, in which he interviewed prominent figures in politics, business, academia, journalism, science, and culture who might be ignored or misrepresented by the mainstream media. Now, in 2009, the former Liberal, Murphy, criticized the Liberal Party for proposing green policy responses to global warming. In 2020, he criticized the then Justin Trudeau-led Liberal government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic for creating a system in which the government is, without opposition, free to gush money whatever it wishes, in whatever amounts it chooses, to whomever it favors. In 2021, Murphy published a column calling the government the worst Canadian government ever. Well, that's saying a lot because he worked with Justin's father. Now, Murphy argued that climate change is a sub-branch of climate politics, and he criticized former American Vice President Al Gore's opposition to the Alberta oil sands, and a 2013 column called the industry a dazzling and profitable engineering endeavor of which all Canadians should be proud. Unfortunately, he died following a tough battle with cancer on May 9, 2024, at the young age of 77. But Rex will be forever remembered by journalists like me for paving the way for all thought. He wasn't just right-wing or left-wing. He'd be pretty well to describe as a Rex Murphyite. He was a Murphyite. He believed in himself and what he wanted to say, and for that I respected him greatly. Now, June 2008, he was awarded an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from the University of Waterloo. He was awarded honorary doctorates of letters by Memorial, St. Thomas, and Nipissing universities. In June 2013, he was awarded the honorary fellowship of the Canadian Institute of Management. A great Canadian, a great Newfoundlander and Labradorian, and boys, Rex, I'm going to miss you, because watching your editorials was a guide for a lot of people in Canada like me who see editorials are just as capsule moments. Like, for example, I would like them to see his take on the Donald Trump situation this week. It's kind of weird how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. He wasn't an expert on American politics. He was an expert on Rex Murphy attitude, like his attitude towards politics. And if you watch him on a certain day, he may seem like a right-winger. Another day, he looked like a left-winger. And some days it would seem wishy-washy or, But he loved the sound of his own voice, because I know when he presented his, what he called his rants or his diatribes, he really enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. So Rex Murphy, probably a top 10 journalist in Canadian history. Not saying a lot, because we've had a lot of great people. I've been very fortunate, ladies and gentlemen. I grew up with Peter Mansbridge, Barbara Frum, Lloyd Robertson, Eric Manling, all the people from Fifth Estate, W5. It's a proud Atlantic region, maritime region reporter like Rex Murphy. I think every young journalist or journalists my age in their 40s and 50s owe a lot to Rex, because he paved the way for what's considered the Atlantic or maritime straight ahead journalistic style. With Rex Murphy, he always told you what he thought, and whether you liked him or not, that was your opinion, but he had his opinion, you had to listen to it. Probably one of the most intelligent people I've ever seen speak on television. That's saying a lot, because I grew up watching René Lévesque before he was a premier, being a journalist. Boys, he was up there. And again, Rex Murphy, you will be missed, brother. Cross Country Checkup, I hope to have a documentary on this weekend with the show. It's going to be an interesting, Ina Hanaman Singh is hosting now. Interesting call-in show. Maybe it should be all be a tribute to Rex Murphy. And by the way, if you like Rex Murphy or don't like it, give us a comment. Tell me what you think about him. This is a Canada-only column, because if you're from living in the States or Europe, you're saying, who the hell's Rex Murphy? Well, anyway, he's ours. Have a good one. Bye.